Clove opening and closing their eyes is subtly used as a transition to switch texts and title drops. The title drop has a blue, white, and purple or pinkish color palette. When the butterfly makes contact, the colors of the butterfly and the title text shift over to Clove. And now, when the butterfly makes contact, the color shifts. We can see that the cinematic takes place on ascent during the golden hour with a blue sky, grey clouds, with a hint of orange. Okay, sure, but what of it? As the color palette of the title text shifts over to Clove, the color scheme of the golden hour then hops onto the title text, as we can see. Again, the orange and like the golden of the golden hour, right, of the sun has shifted to the title text over here. This shift or switch in colors, I think, cleverly hints at the transition between worlds, between two worlds, which is the title of this video. Eh? So this represents the transition Clove experiences when they shift from reality to the limbo that they go to, from real life to the space or the realm between life and death. Another thing, is it just me or does this strip of color remind anyone of the lesbian flag? The color pattern is very similar. I can see the sherbet. Maybe not, but we will talk about this later. And let's remember this golden butterfly over here. We can see them lift their feet in surprise as the waveform activates. And this is something that we do unconsciously, right? So we can see that as soon as the golden line or the waveform, when the music hits, when that activates, we can see that, whoop, they kind of lift their feet up in surprise. We also know that they know where to go and what to do. The limbo is something that I will use to refer to this realm that they go to between life and death. So yeah, we also know that they know where to go and what to do. So the limbo probably stays the same. This is the non-binary flag. The color scheme matches pretty well with the surroundings. The golden glow of the butterflies and the clock tower over here, and the purple and the black void in the distance, and the white glow that comes from Clove themselves. And we can see that all of their accessories and all of their rings and their choker and their bracelet, everything is glowing white. So maybe it's not intentional. And we know that radiance and their powers vary based on their genetic makeup or DNA, so this might also make sense lore-wise. But I think it's mostly just an Easter egg. We can see them looking at their echoes, having fun. But then we have a transition to a statue of Gecko. A golden butterfly draws their attention and they continue heading down their path. With this, we know that Clove seems to have the ability to leave effigies or echoes of themselves behind. We see a tiny version of Clove hugging a plushie while crying. Having a small child version of Clove in a place like this is kind of upsetting because this can imply that they discovered their powers as a child for the very first time, maybe through accident or something, and probably didn't know what was going on or what to do in a weird place like this, and unknowingly left an echo of themselves behind. Or this may even tie to suicidal themes as a teenager due to bullying, discrimination, or being different from others. You don't have to believe or trust my interpretations, but you have to admit that the implication of a child version of Clove in this realm of death is not a positive one. Like, we can agree on that one, right? Like, there is complexity to their power, Immortality might not be as fun as it looks. So, as they reminisce about their past and wipe a tear off of their face, they see chamber, but more importantly, golden butterflies. We can see that they raised their eyebrows or remembered something that they were supposed to do and got distracted. This is the second time they felt distracted. And then we can see that they scrunch their eyebrows when they realize what they have to do or when they realize that there is something that they need to get to. We see the line or the waveform leading up to the gateway between the limbo and the real world. And as they get closer to that gateway, they start to turn golden. And a possible interpretation is that they are also one of the butterflies in their domain, just a more powerful one. Okay, call me crazy, but the resemblance is uncanny. Like you see it, right? You can also see a hint of orange on their shirt. Like maybe not, maybe I'm just seeing things. The density of the golden butterflies is much higher near this gateway, which can mean that they probably represent the transition between worlds. Which would make sense as to why the golden butterflies throughout the cinematic guide them and remind them of their reason to be here, to be in this limbo. The golden butterflies act as guides and help them from getting distracted. Okay, so now why butterflies? Butterflies are usually symbolic of two things: the butterfly effect or metamorphosis. The butterfly effect can apply, but I just don't think we have enough context for that in the story yet, or at least I don't see it. I think that metamorphosis fits better here as it represents a transition or change in self. But what is this change or transition? That we don't know for sure, but I'll talk about it a bit later when we go over the lyrics. And we also see them form the butterfly hand gesture, which ties in well with the entire concept, and that's how I thought of it. Another cool detail here is that they spawn a smoke from beyond the grave and arrive to the real world, which can be seen as a butterfly leaving its cocoon, where the cocoon is the smoke that they just put up. Maybe smoking first before resurrecting is just a tactical decision, it just makes sense on the field, but it's a good detail to catch, which matches with the metamorphosis theory that I had earlier. Riot usually uses music to tie in the themes of the cinematic to what the characters are going through. For reference, this is another cinematic named Bite Marks. This came out in order to introduce the sequel that we would get after the events of Arcane, where we see the story of characters like Darius and Katarina, both of them facing challenges that they have to overcome. The adversaries that they face and the challenges are extremely difficult, and they might not come out unscathed, uninjured, but that is the point, because they like it when the bite marks them through the skin. So I'm going to interpret the meaning of the song and the lyrics based on what's happening in the cinematic. Not all of them, but a select few lines. Anytime you clock a butterfly, so butterfly here can mean clove because of the recurring butterfly motifs around them, and clock a butterfly can mean harm or kill. I flip a switch, keep a secret, let you come inside. Inside where? Inside of the limbo, the space between life and death. Who flips the switch? And this is one of many interpretations, but I think it's their power. It's the limbo itself flipping the switch, letting them come inside in order to resurrect themselves. If you give me a piece of your heart, this line could tie in well with Clove's ability to leave echoes of themselves behind, which can be interpreted as a piece of their heart, a piece of themselves. You'll keep easy when we are a part of two worlds. This could show how Clove's powers and Clove themselves are two different entities, and maybe leaving echoes of themselves behind, a piece of their heart behind, is necessary for them for some reason that we don't know. Keep your eyes on me. We hear this line again and again, especially when Clove looks around and seems distracted from what they have to do, where they have to go. So we can hear it as a whisper, almost calling to them. This can again mean that Clove's powers or the limbo itself is distracting them from going back to the real world, as if the limbo wants them to keep their eyes on itself, distracting them. So, my understanding of what the cinematic tries to convey is tied to the themes of natural balance in the Valorant universe. We have heard about it in Omen's voice lines and his interactions. We also know that Reyna and her sister Lucia require the life essence of their enemies to survive, and how Sage's selfless acts of healing and resurrection are taking a toll on her. I think there is a similar parallel that can be drawn here about Clove. We've seen instances of the limbo or their powers distracting them. There are implications of their powers taking a part of them. If I have to guess, in the future lore segments for Clove, we are probably going to see some form of equivalent exchange or sacrifice. I've added footage of the new animated shot that was just released on Twitter at the time when I'm about to publish this video, which is like pretty cool. So I've added that as well. You know what? I'm just gonna make a video about that actually, covering Sage's storyline from like the beginning to now, but I digress. Last video got 300 views. That's pretty sick, right? I only have like 20 subscribers. I don't know how I have 20 subscribers. So I hope this video was fun to watch. I hope I'm correct though. Like, I hope I'm correct. Please, that would be so cool. Thank you very much. Okay, bye bye.